said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
What's up, everybody? This is Bobby Munden, and today our guest is Duane Moreno. Now, Duane went to school to study psychology, but he also has a very high interest in philosophy and quantum physics as well. The first 10 minutes or so got cut off due to technical issues, but this is a podcast that you really, really have to listen to, and you're going to take a lot out of it. It's very interesting, probably the most interesting by far if you really take in what he's saying. And he starts off by discussing the 7 Hermetic principles, which he will discuss right away. But really take a listen at this guest and take in what he's saying. Very informational, and you guys can take a lot from it. Thank you. Enjoy. Okay, so these are the 7 Hermetic principles?
Yeah, so when I was going through a lot of my religious and understandings of rules and regulations, I like these principles because they're before any written Bible. They're like they're originate from the Kabbalah, which is like an old sacred text.
From what time? Do you know the time range? But it was before the Bible?
It originated before the Bible, and a lot of things actually from the Kabbalion are put into the Bible.
Okay.
I know it's from one of the tribes. I feel like of Judah, the Hebrews.
Look up Judah.
Because before the Bible was the Bible, there was different tribes that came together to make the new testimony that we have now. But when you look at these principles,
Principle of gender, the principle of cause, and I'll go from the top.
I like these principles because I can relate these principles directly into science. Like the principle of mentalism. All is mind, so the universe is mental.
Yes.
So what you think, how you feel, is actually reality. And there's experiments that have been proven all is mind. I don't know if you're familiar with plant experiments.
No, I'm not.
Where
Tell us about it.
they have a group of plants, and there's videos too on this, where they're locked up in a case and they're there for like 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and they're like, okay, this plant, negative thoughts. There's a sign saying, think negative things, say nasty things.
How do they get the plants to think that way, though?
No, the plants don't think. They just put a sign on the plant telling people to think negative towards this plant.
Okay,
And there's another plant, and it says, think positive. Within 3 weeks, the one that has the think negative thoughts to it dies and withers away. The plant that has the sign that says think positive thoughts actually grows stronger.
Really?
There's actual science behind it. These are actual real experiments.
Does this have to do with the energy being transferred to the...
Everything is energy. Our thoughts are energy. Everything is a wavelength. So when I look at the principle, all is mind, the universe is mental. And when you see that in those experiments, you realize. The second one is the principle of vibration. So if everything is energy, energy is always vibrating. There's no stillness. Even these chairs that look still, at a quantum level, they're vibrating. All right?
Okay.
So the second law is principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates.
Just try to stay close. I don't know if... Can you hear him, man? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay. So everything vibrates. So everything is always in a constant state of motion.
Okay.
Just like one of Einstein's laws, an object in motion stays in motion unless an outside force is acted upon it. So everything is naturally in motion.
Okay.
The principle of correspondence, that is the one we were just referring to, is duality, having a flipped, saying what is within inside of us is out in the universe, and what is out in the universe is inside of us. So when you take, the smallest structure and you look at like an atom, and you look at the protons, the electrons, the neutrons, and you compare that to one of the bigger examples, you can see a similarity in their structure, like when you compare the atom to the solar system.
Yes.
And you see the sun as a nucleus, and you see the protons and neutrons going around, just like the planets go around, the sun in our
orbit,
world.
Yeah.
So it's saying as above, as below, as within, as without. So everything on a macro level you see on a micro level, and vice versa.
Okay. There's a bigger picture to everything on this. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual and has pole opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. So
that's not like you're gonna have to explain this one. That sounded very
light, dark.
Okay.
Front,
There's always
back.
an opposite to it. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
this one's easier. Then,
There's always opposite. And
Okay.
the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has tides. All things rise and fall to the pendulum swing. So you think about a pendulum. Drop it. It goes back and forth continuously.
Yes.
You think about the ocean. There's waves and there's troughs.
It keeps on
Continuously.
going. Okay.
Yep, always continuous wave and always continuous trough. So that's, the principle of rhythm. Because everything is always in motion, there has to be
A rhythm.
a rhythm to that motion or the vibration. Because
Okay.
everything's always vibrating. You see, so there's always going to be a rhythm to the vibration, regardless of how fast or slow.
Okay.
And think about
That's interesting.
music. You can
Yep.
you can think about music and you can feel the vibration, but you put a fast song on, you feel that beat.
That has to be why music is so big, right? Because everyone has the rhythm and vibration that it almost connects and transfers over,
music-
right? That has to be why.
Music is so powerful.
Yeah.
I believe music is one of the most powerful things that we have, for the simple fact that if you're not aware of what you're listening to, you can easily pick up those vibrations and not even be aware that you picked up those vibrations. So when it comes down to music and even looking at our behavior with the music we listen to, we don't realize how much music affects us until we actually realize what we're listening to, because we can be listening to a catchy song just because the rhythm is good and take a minute and you stop and you hear the lyrics. Sometimes you maybe actually be disgusted.
Yeah, because you actually see what it's saying now.
Exactly, because you hear what the words are and you could be completely against, what they're saying, but you're enjoying it because you feel the rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, like this is, people within the music industry probably do something like that so that they can almost pull someone in and listen to the music off the vibrations. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. It's called, they put you in a hypnotic trance.
Hypnotic trance. That's what they put you in.
You can put people in a hypnotic trance, and I just want to say this. 2 points. When you look at Nikola Tesla and you look at his philosophy, he's like, if you want to understand the universe, think in numbers, frequencies, and vibrations. Okay.
Okay.
And now when you look at Travis Scott's concert that happened most recently, and a couple people died.
Yes.
People were actually saying how the music put them in a trance, and you can look up videos on YouTube about this. And even prior to this video, I don't know if you guys are familiar with XXXTentacion.
Yes. Big fan, actually. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he was one of the people that revealed certain things about frequencies, and I personally believe that is why he was taken out. Not because of anything else, but he knew too much at his age. And when you watch the videos, he talks about frequencies. He talks about how you can manipulate frequencies, to get people to do certain things. It's really eye-opening in terms of what's happening in the music industry and the music we listen to. We may be controlled that we may not even have an awareness of it.
Wow, I had no clue about that. How you found that out?
But so going back to that too, like just a lot of research and knowing things. Like, for example, color.
Yes.
Yellow,
we actually
red.
we brought this up on the last podcast, actually. But
Okay.
continue what you were going to say, and I'll connect it if it relates.
Yeah, color is a frequency.
Okay.
Just like sound is a frequency, because we see different frequencies just like we can hear different frequencies.
Yes. So,
Okay.
like that, because that relates to how we don't see the same colors, right? They have no clue that we don't, like we all don't know if we see the same color or not. Right? Did you know that?
To a certain extent, yeah, because the retinos and cones and everybody's DNA can be slightly different.
Yes.
So it could be slightly different perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because we brought that up, and I just thought that was why, but I don't know the science behind why we don't see the color the same way.
I can base it back to DNA.
Yeah.
And the cones and just that little bit of variety in terms of how we have a choice to perceive.
Okay.
That's what I could base it off of. And when you look at frequencies and you look at certain things such as red and yellow, those are actual colors that stimulate hunger.
Yes, that's why McDonald's and Wendy's, they're all the fast food restaurants are all yellow and red, right? That's correct?
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't same thing with money. Doesn't green do something to you as well? I couldn't name it. All I knew was that the fast food restaurants chose yellow and red because it tricks the mind to make you hungrier.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so when you look at the
interesting a lot.
manipulation that we go through on a day-to-day basis without being aware of it, now you look at, okay, music, it's a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still be manipulated in that way, but we may not know it. I only know this
anytime.
because of
You do the research.
what the binaural beats and what I've been through in terms of feeling those different frequencies, in my state of meditation, when I purely listen and feel.
Uh-huh.
Like I have certain life experiences that I've been through that, justify.
Okay.
That justify it. The principle of cause and effect. Everything has its effect, everything has a cause, everything happens according to law. So cause and effect, the easiest way to implement this principle, you drop a pebble
Yes.
in a pond.
It's
So
going to make a splash.
there's going to be ripples.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cause and effect. Those ripples.
Okay.
The cause is, the cause is you dropped it. The effect is ripples. So everything has a ripple effect in our life. Like
Okay.
when we look at what we do and how we do it, it affects everything around us. It affects us even if we're not aware of it. Just like we talked about the vibrations and the colors, it affects us even if we're not aware of how it is affecting us.
Wow.
So there's always a cause and there's always going to be an effect.
Do you think that's why, relating this to the gym almost, if you go to a different gyms, you can feel the vibe in the gym. That's why, like, Edge, for example, is bright. There's a lot they allow a lot of, like, sun to shine into it. Everyone's upbeat. The music's loud, and it makes you upbeat. It's almost like it makes you want to go in there and work out. Because you go to other gyms like Planet Fitness almost, and you're not, like for me, for example, I'm not, like, going in there ready to go to war in the gym. But I get that vibe going into different gyms. Like, am I about to go to war? Am I about not to go? Like, what's the vibe in the gym? How am I going to feel working out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, like,
I agree. For like the way they have the music set up,
yes.
the way they have the equipment on the floor, the way they have everything down to a detail has an effect on how we perceive and feel in that environment.
Wow.
To
Crazy.
the T, yeah. So that's why, like, when you're hyper aware, you realize, like, okay, like, the overthinking happens. That's I suffer from OCD, ADHD, depression. So it's like knowing these things. It's very difficult to stop wondering.
Yeah, you're always thinking.
Yeah, to say, okay, so what is this behind the reason behind this? Just in where I'm looking for is intriguing. Just the intriguing aspect behind everything and the reasoning behind it.
And why it happens, why doesn't it happen, what causes it to happen.
Simply why is it the way it is?
So, do you think, I want to bring this back to the light thing you told me, but do you think that has a representation of how the world evolved? Almost, because if one thing led from another, what caused us all to be here? And, like, the world continuously just grows and grows and grows, like, economic wise, or, like, nature wise, like, the nature is brought down almost, or cutting down trees, pollution, the air. Like, how as a world do we operate according to, like, almost the butterfly effect or, like, the vibrations? Do you get what I'm saying? It's a hard way to picture it.
Let me see.
That might be a hard question. We can pass by that. I don't know.
Can you re-ask it?
So, if like the cause and effect, butterfly effect, everything happens because of one thing. Like, the moment, like, everything on this earth, like, started happening, the one thing had to cause, like, a trillion things to happen. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That way? Like,
and the one thing to answer that is movement, vibration.
Okay.
Before anything can happen, there's always movement or vibration. Going back to the principle of vibration, nothing rests. Everything is in motion. Everything vibrates. So if that principle was not there, there was no motion.
What would happen if that principle wasn't, out of all the, like, what would happen if the principle of vibration wasn't in the earth, on the world?
It'd be like a black hole.
Really?
That's what I believe, because when you look at a black hole, light doesn't escape.
Yeah,
light
it's
cannot escape
literally a black hole.
Yeah, so there's
Bring up the black hole NASA just found about a few months ago. Did you see that?
the one right close in our solar system.
I think it was.
I believe so. Yeah, I peeped that.
That was
yeah.
pretty interesting. Oh, I won the. All right, the last one was the principle of gender.
Can you pull it back up real quick?
Yeah. Because this is something I want to talk about, was the quantum tunnel, if you have anything to do with it, but we'll discuss that after this.
Okay. So the principle of gender is everything has a masculine and feminine principle. So just like when you look at humans, there's male, female, and it's like without that, there would be no offspring.
Yes.
So the principle of gender is very simple. Like, there's always going to be an opposite energy of to balance the other energy. And always going to be a masculine and a feminine, a front and a back, a light and a dark.
There's always two sides to everything.
Exactly, and that's what brings the balance, and that's what brings the continuity of the ability for things to continue to happen. If that makes sense.
It does. It does. It allows growth in the
Because
world.
without one, you can't have the other.
Yes.
So that's that principle of gender.
Okay. So that was the 7 Hermetic principles. If anyone wants to look this up, you can. Duane went over it very well. The one thing I wanted to transition to a little bit was you did study, or you were very intrigued in quantum physics, but this has a lot to do with it as well.
Yes.
I assume. I don't know much about quantum physics at all. When you hear that, it's like, what the hell is that? You know? But the one thing I heard about was the quantum tunnel.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I actually just did some research on it not too long ago.
Because I put it in the document just to see if you would know.
Yeah, pretty much. What I realized is it's like I want to say, like CERN. It's like something that they have, like CERN. You know the thing over in Switzerland. Are you familiar with CERN?
No, I don't know what CERN is. I don't.
Oh.
Hey man, show me.
Okay,
show me.
So yeah, if you want to pull up CERN, it's a big particle collider.
How do you spell it? So he spells it.
I think CERN.
CERN.
CERN,
right.
yeah.
In Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a giant particle accelerator, and what it does is it spins particles like at the speed of light, if not close to the speed of light, and smashes them together.
And what does this cause?
That causes a nuclear reaction. And when you look at the
what the?
Yeah, that's the yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's giant. It's really giant, and there's a lot of skepticism and about this, because if some people say that they can create a black hole on Earth, and if something goes wrong, the particle
Well, this looks damn like they can create something out of this, right?
There's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of speculation when you look at the science and the spiritual aspects. There are speculations beyond that I don't even want to go into.
Okay. yeah, there's a lot we can go
about this.
Yes.
But yeah. In terms of the tunnel,
quantum tunnel,
I feel like this is one of the key steps for that, because this actually smashes the particles together, and all a quantum tunnel is, it's a bridge between the physical and the non-physical.
Uh-huh.
So when you have something of this nature smashing particles together, you're gonna eventually come up with something that's between the physical and the non-physical.
The black hole.
To a certain extent, or a particle of that caliber.
Okay.
And I believe 2 or 3 years ago they actually did that. They smashed particles together, and there's this particle. It's called the God particle.
The God particle.
God particle.
What does this God particle do? Allow us to. This is crazy. By the way, I can't express how crazy this is. It's in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yeah.
Okay, they smashed all the atoms together. You said, right?
Certain particles, and create the God particle. Don't quote me on this, because I'm not too sure. I haven't done much research on it, but I believe the God particle might be antimatter.
Okay.
To some extent, if you look up God particle, it'll
like, hold on.
right up.
That looks like you're about to enter another dimension. Like, that looks like it's like out of a video game or something. That picture.
Yeah, that's crazy. They put particles in there and just warp them to the speed of light and smash them together.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. All right, look at the God particle. I can't believe that. That's new to me. I've never heard about this. Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying time travel is very.
Oh yes, you can, if you want to talk.
I believe time travel is real. I mean, you can call it time travel, dimension travel. Depends on how you look at it. Because we can't necessarily go back in our timeline. But I believe we can cross certain points in our time and expand outward into a different timeline.
Well, do you know anything about like people like within the Egyptian timeline, I guess you would say? They were much more evolved than us. Like, did you know about that? How like they were actually like they were more evolved. So like they found, for example, within one of the pyramids, you can pull that back up just so, because I know we're going to discuss it. Like drill holes in around the Egyptian pyramids that equipment we have today would never have a chance of making what this drill had to do. And like same thing with like if they did have the pulley system like to make the pyramids, because I'm a big fan of the Egyptian pyramids. Those are very intriguing to me. But do you think they were so much more evolved than us to where they could have done something like this? Because there have been like time travel, like almost like like I don't want to say examples, but like theories out there of time travel, correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were more evolved than us. I'd say that they were definitely more advanced.
That's what I was. Yes, more advanced.
I'd say that they were able to utilize Earth's natural elements to create uh, things that we have to use artificial things to create. Like, for example, I don't know if you know, but the pyramids, they use a certain mixture of limestones, so that the pyramids would absorb the light in the day on one side, and then at nighttime they would actually glow.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, you could pull that up. It's the white glowing thing.
Yeah,
white,
they would actually glow, so they would illuminate the whole entire city.
Wow.
So when you look
knew about this.
Yeah, so when you look at what they used in terms of natural elements and having the biochemistry to create that, there's no doubt in my mind that they were able to do things that
we couldn't. We can't.
We can do, but we don't pay attention to the knowledge and the sacred information enough to do it. There's this one thing that they speculate in terms of how they actually got the pyramids to come together is and there's a video on this, because to lift those big stones was near impossible.
Yes.
So how did they lift?
Yes.
How did they get them up there?
Mm-hmm.
There's what is that? What's what I'm looking for?
Theory.
Yeah, there's a theory. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. A theory out there saying that they were actually able to use vibration
to move it,
to move the blocks.
Are you talking about vibration with the head, the mind?
No, actual sound vibration.
Oh. Okay, this is something totally different than I was.
Drums. I'm talking about actual drums.
Okay.
They would have an acoustic drum set. You know what I'm saying? Like big drums, and they would have people play the drums, and that the sound and the resonance would actually lift the stone.
What the hell?
That there are theories on that, and I believe that is very possible, because when you look at the Hermetic principles and you go back to how everything is vibration, when you manipulate a certain vibration, you can get what you want from it.
Well, have you ever seen the video? These are the pyramids, but look up. There should be a limestone where you can actually see how they looked with the whiteness. But if you stand on the side of one, have you ever seen the video of the guy clapping?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh. Go on YouTube and look that up.
What happened?
This man claps. It's a tour guide. And it shoots up the pyramid. It shoots. He claps. You'll see. He'll pull it up. I don't even care about the sound. We're playing this video. Yeah, and he claps.
I believe it.
And the clap shoots up at the pyramid. Pull up that video in. But this is what they look like with the limestone, correct? This is what they would have looked like?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, look up. It should be on YouTube. Look up Egyptian pyramids clapping. Is that not one of the Egyptian pyramids? Just pull it up. It's interesting either way. I'm pretty sure.
To be honest with you, a lot of the pyramids and a lot of these ancient sites, they're actually built on Earth's meridian points that have a higher level of frequency and a higher level of energy. So you look at Stonehenge, you look at any Mayan pyramid, any Egyptian pyramid, a lot of them are built on certain meridian points, longitude and latitude points that have the strongest magnetic frequencies on Earth.
So they had to have known something with the vibrations. Then
I agree.
100%.
100%. I agree, because they're actually built on those meridian points where they
wouldn't have done that by accident. They wouldn't have done that by accident.
No, but my thing is, maybe somebody told them. Maybe a higher life form translated information, or maybe something happened in between that we don't know about.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this individual, Graham Hancock. He's an archaeologist who studies stuff like this. And he thinks, to a certain extent, either the Egyptians or someone they knew had this almost power to where, almost like an alien, to where they could move stuff with the vibrations with their mind. And this man, it's a very wild concept, but Graham Hancock is a very almost, I don't want to say trustworthy because everyone has to do their own research, but he had that theory, and if someone like that is coming up with it, some of it has to be almost reconciled and truthful almost, right? But this connects to the drum wavelengths, how if they did the drums and vibrations and the frequencies, they could probably do that somehow with the mind, correct?
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And when you look at the history and the archaeology behind it, you actually see in these ancient sites that there are some different shaped skulls, some elongated skulls that are not human. They're not the
really
normal human shape. They're elongated.
Oh, we'll pull that up.
And they're actual real. So
what let's watch this video first. And play this. Watch it. He'll clap.
Actually, it's very simple to explain. When you have for a mechanism of a slow sound, in this case, a pyramid. And if it's there,
So it's not a pyramid, but a temple.
Okay.
Oh. So it's totally different than an Egyptian pyramid. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Look how far he is away from it, though. They don't know. They don't.
Yeah, it's
Okay, we're good. Isn't that crazy, though?
yeah. It's
Acoustic,
very
like,
interesting.
experts have no clue how they did it at all. Now, it's not an Egyptian pyramid, everyone listening, it's a temple. But that's wild
Yeah,
how they use that.
there are certain, I feel like, key points that a lot of the ancients used, and like vibration and setting things up in a certain manner
Mhm.
and manipulating those natural elements, I feel like are very, very vital.
Uh-huh.
And when you look at that across the history, different ancient civilizations, I think there's a commonality. I
Wow.
really do.
That's wild. I don't know. I'm stumped on that one. But one thing, bring up the skulls. What would we look up for that?
Just elongated skulls found in Egypt.
Okay,
Yeah,
elongated skulls found in
elongated
Egypt.
skulls found in Egypt.
And they found these in the pyramids, or like in that area of the pyramids.
I think around the area.
But this has to do with how they weren't actually just human made. Because I don't know if you listened to the last podcast I just uploaded yesterday, but a question I'm going to ask you, and a girl at college asked me this. I'll bring it up after this. Wow.
So when you see the difference in the elongation of the skulls, you can kind of see that maybe there was maybe more than the Homo sapiens, survived longer than what we thought. Maybe there was actually another race of
Inca.
humans.
Part of the Inca.
They're found all over the world.
Wow.
When you look, you can find these skulls in majority of ancient sites. You find these skulls in Antarctica.
Really?
Found these skulls in Antarctica.
So what do you think it actually was? Like, do you think it was some sort of, like, you said Homo sapien, but
I think
almost
it's
like an alien type thing?
I think, to be honest with you, not an alien from outer space, but a different type of human.
Yes.
Like when you look at animals, like for example, like whales.
Wild.
Like, whales have the ability to communicate telepathically.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know that.
I think someone mentioned it to me before. I didn't know fully about it.
Yeah, there's a region in their prefrontal cortex that has evolved over time that allows them to do that.
To communicate over wavelengths almost and frequencies.
Like sonar, yeah.
Okay.
Like,
wow.
So I feel like humans
could have done that. And that relates to Graham Hancock's, now we're tying all the strings together. I think that has to do with Graham Hancock's theory on how they could do it with their mind.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And going back to the first level of the Hermetic principles, all is mental.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow, all back to square one.
Yeah, a lot. It comes full circle. A lot of it comes back to the mind.
How come we can't do this? Like, how come this isn't being brought up now? Why can't we do this thing now? We're just not as advanced as them to get to this point?
I think we can do it. I think there has to be a level of awareness beyond what the majority of people can perceive to actually pull this off. And when I say beyond the normal perception of awareness, there are certain psychedelic drugs that I do believe change and alter your state of awareness. In that altered state of awareness, I do believe you have the ability to manipulate things around you because of that altered state of awareness, and how when you're on certain substances, it changes the electromagnetic field. It changes the vibration of your brain, therefore changing the perception, I think, allowing you to do different things.
Is that why they try to bring mushrooms a lot up when talking about this type of stuff?
Don't endorse drugs. I don't encourage anybody to do
to
do them. But I believe the psilocybin in mushrooms are one of the things that change your awareness, and you're able to do this. And there's another level of awareness there.
Okay.
Sometimes, even alcohol, marijuana, You see, alcohol kind of slows down a level of awareness. Marijuana can slow it up or slow it down or speed it up. So I feel like certain substances can be used to expand our awareness in order to come to a higher level of consciousness.
Okay. And connecting this to the Illuminati, as we were talking about, you think the Illuminati isn't like the Illuminati. You think it's a group of people who are illuminated and understand all of this.
To be frank and honest, I can say I am Illuminati.
Okay.
Because I feel like I have certain esoteric knowledge of the illuminated ones. When we talked about like judgment before and perspective, I feel like to be illuminated to a certain level of awareness, a certain level of consciousness, there can be no judgment.
Yes.
And once that judgment is gone, you see things for the way they are without your perspective.
You see it almost as a third person perspective. Like if you were brought out of your body, you see it from what it just what's happening in the moment. Okay.
Just like I gave you the example before, if this was filled halfway, some people say it's half full, some people say it's half empty. Well, full and empty are perspectives. But what is the truth without a perspective? It's simply filled halfway.
The water's just
because halfway is a fact.
Yes.
Full, half
empty,
is a perspective.
Okay.
Half empty are perspective. Saying facts, saying even words we use. That's why the words we use are very, very vital, I feel, to a certain extent, because the words we use create our reality around us.
Yes.
And how we understand and interpret things. So one word can make a complete difference in terms of interpretation.
Okay.
So I feel like when people say, oh, magic isn't real, spells aren't real, well, I believe they are, because when you speak, you see, you're casting a spell because you're using words, vibration. It's all energy. When you understand that at a fundamental level, it's all energy. You understand word is bond.
Yes.
That's why people say be careful what you wish for.
Because there's this chance it may occur.
Very high chance, especially when you speak it into reality, because now you're combining the vibration of thought into the vibration of...
Do you think this has anything to do with, well, I suppose it definitely does, manifestation? Because they say there's been studies apparently where if you truly do manifest stuff, you write it down, if you do this stuff, there's a certain chance and level where it will occur. Like, for example, Xander, your girlfriend, Ange, she wrote down on a piece of paper 3 times that she would be a college athlete for basketball. And luckily, it occurred. She's a college athlete for basketball. Like, that's just a pure example that, don't be wrong, there's stuff behind the scenes where, like, she has to put in that work. You have to execute it in a way. But do you think, like, if you truly do manifest, there's a shot of that stuff happening? Just because the vibrations that you, like, it happens. It's a wish for...
Oh, yeah. From my own perspective of manifestation, sometimes it gets scary. Because when you see things aligned together, it's mind-blowing. And you kind of question, well, is this real or not? And going back with manifesting, it's a lot more than just saying and writing it. What I realized is it's a multiple alignment of energies and frequencies on multiple different platforms and playing forms. So, here's an example, college athlete. Okay, you can't be out of shape and manifest that.
Yes, you have to put in that work at the end of the day.
Yes, so there's a certain level of vibration that she had to have in her physical aspect, to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I see exactly what you're saying.
So you have to align the different vibrational patterns in your life. I believe when you figure out those different vibrational patterns and you align them, that's when the manifestation happens.
Okay.
But it's all a matter of matching those frequencies, and some frequencies take longer to match. Like you can say, I want to be a millionaire.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? But what vibrational patterns
are going to take you to that?
Exactly. And you have to match those along the way.
Okay.
It's not just a matter of saying.
And happening. You have to match the vibrations over time to have that occur.
Yes, but speaking it does help, because now you're matching, your imagination with reality. So you're trying to fuse what's in your mind to reality. So speaking it does help.
Okay. That very, very, very great explanation of manifestation.
That's what I believe on my own
Yes.
experience in manifesting. And even, I'm sorry to cut you off,
Oh,
but
you're fine.
just like people want to manifest the good, people can also do that and manifest the bad
Yes.
towards other people.
Okay.
So I don't know if you familiar with the video that I had showed you or sent to you.
Leonardo, that one?
No, the We Are From the Future.
Yes, I watched it. How it explains how we are light and everything. Yes.
And then he talks about how every thought had drastic, immediate impact.
Okay.
We had to learn to direct our psychological forces. So pretty much at a certain point when people, I feel, understand.
This video, by the way, is called "We Are the Future." Correct?
We Are From the Future.
We Are From the Future. You can look it up. He showed me it's about a 7.5-minute clip. Very, very intriguing.
Do you mind if you play like maybe 3 minutes?
Yeah. Look it up.
Go back.
Okay. Okay, so this is the video "We Are From the Future," and Duane was saying this is going to connect a lot to what we were talking about and saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
because when you think about this beforehand, the Hermetic principles, all is mind, vibration, light, a lot of those factors come into play, and they make perfectly good sense of how we are here. And going back to, how did everything start? And
yes.
it's with movement.
Okay.
It's always movement first.
Okay. Always movement first. Let's take a listen. You can put the sound on.
So going back to the first idea of Hermetic principles, all is the mind, all is mental.
All is mental.
So when you look at that first, minute or two.
Do you want to keep it going?
Yeah, we keep it going. I just wanted to make a point about how he made a point we had to, be aware of our thoughts.
Within our head.
Yes, because every thought had drastic, immediate impact.
Okay.
And when you realize thoughts are vibrations, and you look at those experiments of how those negative thoughts killed a plant compared to how the positive thoughts prospered a plant, we're right there.
We're right there.
We're right there. People that are not aware of it.
Awesome. Oh, I'm liking this. All right, let's continue the video. Let us know whenever you want to stop it.
Okay.
Goodness.
It's deep. I would say like, when you look at like light in itself and how nothing can move faster than the speed of light.
Yes.
So I look at that concept and in my mind, so nothing can move faster than the speed of light. And I look at the example with the plants and how they harvest light. And I think because of their ability to let's see, absorb light, just like we have the ability to absorb light for like vitamin D,
Yes.
but they use it, for actual food. I look at that and
And what? Don't mind me cutting you off, but what the video says is that we are living organisms are the only things that can do this type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it said? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much like it's saying that plants harvest light with near perfect efficiency. But under like the reality, light shouldn't even be harvested because it's saying light is a physical particle.
Yeah.
So how can something that's physical be absorbed? Just like I don't know how to explain. Just like lost my train of thought.
Take your time, man. Take your time, dude.
Like,
you're teaching us, man. This is wild.
So light, it's a wave and it's a particle. So it's something that can go through things and it's something that can be solid.
Yes.
So when you look at that, it's saying plants they're different, and that's one of the reasons why I was actually a vegetarian for 5 years, because I figured instead of eating meat and animals, I can get my energy directly from the sunlight by eating plants.
Yeah.
And when I look at that, light in itself is all we need to survive, even like plants.
What about water?
I don't believe we need water to survive.
No.
No, I look. There's actually like one or two people that I don't physically know that I've researched. They're called like breatharians. And this one guy, he's a 70-year-old guy, and he hasn't eaten or drinking anything, and he lives in India for over 70 years.
He hasn't eaten or drank anything in 70 years?
Yeah, you can look it up. You can look up the study too. They took him to a hospital. Yeah, they took him to a hospital, and they did like testing on him for like 30 days straight, where they kept him in a room and they observed him.
So what was he doing? Just
meditation and sunbathing.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't eat a thing, didn't drink a thing.
So,
wow.
So it shows, how powerful light actually is.
Holy God.
If you don't mind me asking, are you still a vegetarian?
No, I started eating meat, chicken and fish about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
What made you switch from when you were?
Well, I was a vegan for 5 years. Got married, had 2 children. My wife wanted to start eating fish again. So at this level of awareness and understanding, one is not necessarily better than the other. Because when I first came into it, I was like, oh, like I'm doing it, and I did do it because I wanted to help the planet. I wanted to be more aware and more conscious. And even now at this level, I still have that awareness and consciousness, so I'm not indulging like I used to. But I personally feel I want to go back to being a vegetarian and vegan, more so because of a natural respect for energy, regardless of how big or small it is, because I look at plants, and plants don't have nervous systems. So plants don't feel. But when I look at animals,
they feel.
Even though I eat them now, in the back of my mind, they feel. So there was pain, and there was, anguish that the animal had to go through
to get that meat.
Yeah, for me to enjoy this. And going back to the first level, or the second Hermetic principle, everything is vibration. So that pain the animal felt when being killed, we eat that meat that has that vibration. Now we take on more of that vibrational state of pain.
Wow.
And fear. So that's where I connect the dots in terms of, everything's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And when you look at how deep, so it actually all does connect even at that.
Is there a study that shows like, actually, let me get this out of the way, then we'll discuss this. Is there like some type of study that shows that carnivores are more almost like depressed because they eat this vibrational food that went through pain?
I don't know. I don't believe
that'd be a good study to go through.
If there are studies, for that necessarily.
That'd be something interesting to look into, because if the vibrations cause more pain to transfer over to you, since you're a carnivore and you're eating all this food that has been like animals have gone through pain for you to eat this. Like it has to have some kind of effect on how you feel, correct?
Oh yeah, I agree with it. That's
Yes.
why I have that philosophy of how everything is connected. So that's why I gave it up back then. I can tell you, I felt a lot lighter, a lot better, and coming back into it, eating it. I'm not gonna say I'm more angry, but I can tell you there's more of a seriousness to my persona than a sincerity.
Okay.
And I could feel that in my own vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's more of a seriousness there than a sincerity, and I like being sincere more than serious because it's easier. So it's more fluent, more free flowing, very much more enjoyable.
All right, respect it, man. Hey, respect it. But this is the 82-year-old Indian yoga is making headlines by claims that for the past 70 years he has had nothing, not one calorie to eat, and not one drop of liquid to drink. To test his claims, Indian military doctors put him under around-the-clock observation during a 2-week hospital stay that ended last week, news reporters say. During that time, he didn't ingest any food or water and remained perfectly healthy, the researchers said. But that's simply impossible. Individual from a physician at Harvard's Brigham and Women's Hospital, associate professor at the medical school and director of the Harvard Community. Basically, the doctor said it was impossible, and he did it.
Yeah.
Proved them wrong. Wow. For anyone who does not believe us, you can look this up. This is real. And he just, sunbathed? And
meditation, yoga, sunbathing. It goes back to the first level of Hermetic principle. All is mental.
wow.
So when you have that design in your mind, how you want to live, and you align those vibrational patterns,
it'll connect. And it happens.
Exactly. There's a lot of people that are out there that are like this. They're called breatharians.
Breatharians?
So they use the air and the natural sun to keep them alive.
Are they like skinny as hell?
I wouldn't say they're skinny or malnourished.
Because if they're not having all this like nutritionist, I don't know. I've never encountered this.
I'd say look at me when I'm at like maybe 5% body fat. About 5% body fat.
You're shredded, man. You're shredded. I've seen pictures.
But like that is how they look.
Okay.
And if you do like the yoga exercises,
it'll all come together.
And you train your body and your nervous system, you're going to be toned. You're not going to be skinny. You're not going to be malnourished. But there's different alignment, different things that have to be in alignment for this to be accomplished. It doesn't just happen like that.
It takes time.
Oh yeah,
it does take time. This is him.
Yeah, it took me about 2 years to become a vegetarian.
It was hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I had to align myself slowly. I had to take out the pork, then the red meat, then the fish. So I was trying to slowly acclimate myself to a different lifestyle. And through that slow acclimation, I could feel the vibrational changes. And just like with anything, even at that level, he had to go through an acclimation maybe where he was like just drinking for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just, trying to find how to align himself. But it's very well possible.
That's craziness. I'm stunned for words after that.
Yeah, it's real.
I guess coming from here, man, this is going to be a question that I want to ask every guest this. I forgot to ask Ojan. What is, and I'll give you my example first, just so you know, and you're going to know it, but what is one thing on this earth that you think, or not even you think, that you know is 100% real? And for example, mine was the Egyptian pyramids.
Okay.
Were not only human made. So the average human, all of us in the room, it took more than just us to build those pyramids. So I 100% think, and like even if it has to do with the vibrations with the drums, like there was more than just us and like picking up these stones, or maybe if it was the pulley system, like it was more than just us making these massive sculptures and structures. For example, the Alaska Sail, his was nothing. He asked if that was the acceptable answer. I let him say it.
Nothing?
He says nothing, but then I hit him with, what about the present moment? And he was kind of stunned. But yeah, that was his. So what do you think is 100% real? You can take your time. You want to think about this. 100% real.
Based on
anything.
Well, if you're talking about what I think, there's an actual experiment, a quantum physics experiment. It's called
Get close to the mic for this.
The double slit experiment.
The devil's split?
The double slit.
Double split experiment.
Double slit.
Look that up.
Double slit experiment.
What is it?
It's pretty much where they put particles in like a box, and they shot these particles through a box, and these particles came out in random states. Let me see if I can actually give you a better definition of it.
Take your time. I'm sure the audience will understand.
It's deep.
So, and this connects to what you think is 100% real?
Yeah, because it's going to be two experiments.
He found something. Is this what you're looking for?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It demonstrates that light and matter can display characteristics of both classical defined waves and particles, just like we saw that video beforehand about how light can be a particle and a wave.
Yes.
But it says, moreover, it displays the fundamental probabilistic nature of quantum mechanic phenomena. This type of experiment was first performed using light by Thomas Young in 1802. Demonstration of wave behavior of light. So that's the first experiment they did to see how light would pass through as a particle or a wave in different scenarios. Then they did another experiment. It's called the quantum eraser experiment. And this experiment demonstrates several fundamental aspects of quantum mechanics, including quantum entanglement and complementary. The quantum eraser experiment is a variation of Thomas Young's classic double slit experiment. So they take this experiment with another experiment, but it establishes that when action is taken to determine which of the two slit of photons has passed through, the photon cannot interfere with itself. So when a stream of photon is marked in this way, then the interference fringes characteristics of Young's experiment will not be seen. So it's saying pretty much when you fire a photon through that slit.
And what is, for everyone who doesn't know, what's a photon? For everyone
it's a particle. It's a light particle.
Okay.
It's saying if you observe that photon being fired, it's going to be here. But if you don't watch that photon being fired, put it this way. If you watch it,
you'll see it.
You'll see it. If you don't watch it, you're not going to see it, but it's still going to be there. So when you ask me about what is real,
yes,
the answer that you told me before is actually intriguing because I would agree nothing is real unless there is an observer. So you're asking me what is real,
yeah,
and I'm here observing. So I say everything is real, but you couldn't ask. Like for example, if you asked me that question, I wasn't here.
Wasn't it really real?
When you talk about reality, are we talking about physical, tangible, or are we talking about a mental, spiritual space?
I don't even know. I don't.
So now that's my question. What is real? Is it talking about tangible?
Not so much this, but like say the present moment where we're right now all talking. This is real. You're on the podcast. We're talking right now. We're explaining to the audience like they're watching this. This is real.
Conscious awareness. Without consciousness, there's no reality.
So what are you saying?
The only thing that's real is consciousness.
Okay. I'm stumped. I don't know what to say. You're stumping me, man.
Consciousness, awareness.
Okay. So the consciousness and awareness is what's real in the moment. Is that what you're saying?
That's all there ever is. Because take this for example, from what I understand, there's a famous quote. If you're in a forest and a tree falls and nobody's around, does it still make a sound?
Yeah.
You say yeah. You say yeah. You say
if you're by the tree and it falls.
No. If you're if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's around to hear it make a sound, does it make a sound?
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know.
What we know.
Yeah, because if you were there, it would still make a sound.
Now we're using a predisposition. If we were there, but if we're not there, sound is only relative to an eardrum. So if there is no eardrum there is no sound.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there is.
If that makes any sense.
So,
yes. If nobody was there.
There's something recording, like there's a video of it.
For everyone listening, Anthony said if there was a recording of it, would there still be a sound? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, there would be a sound, but like
no one's there.
Only when the video is being watched by conscious awareness.
So you're saying
Say there is a video, but no one watches it.
The sound's not there.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's why I say conscious awareness is the only thing that's real.
So 100% you think conscious awareness is the one thing that is real. Is that what you're saying? That's your answer?
Consciousness, yes.
Wow. Yeah, let me tell you, man, that was a exquisite answer. I like that. That was wild.
I use that based on quantum physics, the double slit experiment, and the eraser experiment when they're watching how the photons act compared to if they weren't watching, they would act completely different.
Okay.
And that's where I get my understanding, because that conscious awareness of looking actually changes the outcome.
Yeah, it changes what happens out from it.
Mm-hmm.
You put that in an amazing way, man. I'm stumped on that one. That was wild. I wasn't expecting that.
My mind goes some places.
Hey, man.
Sometimes I don't even want it to go.
That's why we want to express to the world the best way we can, man. That's exactly why.
It's deep, a lot of deep stuff.
One thing I wanted to bring up that doesn't connect to this topic as well, but Leonardo da Vinci, sent you what you sent me. I didn't know, other than an artist, he was an engineer, archaeologist. I listened to the video the first 10 minutes. He was 10 different things.
Yeah.
So and this all related to his artwork and why he was so dialed in and great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly did he do with his art that people are that connected all these things together as one?
It's not what he necessarily did with his art, because he only has a couple of pieces, but I feel and believe it's what he learned throughout his life that enhanced his art.
Because those artworks are known.
Yeah.
The very few he made are the very few that are known.
Yeah. They're well known, and it's because he had that in-depth understanding of different areas. You see what I'm saying? That he was able to bring it all together. Now, what do you know? We can look it up if you don't. But from the video, do you know everything he studied? Because it was a lot. He was everything. If you want to pull it up, I had no clue about this till you sent me the video. This Leonardo da Vinci, everyone, was much more than just an artist. He was, like I said, engineer, archaeologist, astronomer. Yeah. He studied a lot. Yeah, a lot of things. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't even recall all he did, but I know he was at least 10 to 15, maybe 20 different trades. He was a, mortician, you can even say. God. Mortician? People that take apart dead people? Yeah. Yeah. You go to school for that. You have to go to school for that. Yeah, right? Yeah. That's what people usually do nowadays, but he did it back in the day. He took about 15 to 20 dead bodies apart. He just studied where everything was, one of the first people. And he drew it all, right? He drew everything out of the body. Yes. Catalog it, yes. Wow. It's crazy what he did. When you brought that up to me in the gym, I was... Because you think about all these artists and you're just thinking, oh, they do artwork, blah, blah, but no, he had a lot more. He took apart bodies and literally studied the body and drew it all out. Yeah. Because there's pictures of him, drawing the skulls and matching up, one side of the skull would be full and the other of it would be half, and it would almost... You see the different portions of the face, layers. Different layers, yeah. Of the skeletal system, the muscles, everything. And that's actually how you look at the body, correct? Is, layers and, that. I wanted to bring this up, your split and all, So you look at it as planes. Yeah. When I look at anatomy and physiology, I don't know, after working out for so long and getting more into it by detail, you see, when you do things for so long and you want to get better at them, you have to be more precise and more detailed. So at this level of detail and precision, now I look at, the different layers of muscle, what muscles sit on top compared to what muscles sit on the bottom, what muscles, And you show me that one incline bench workout where we would work out the muscle underneath the pec, correct? Yeah, when you stay in a certain plane, when you stay in a certain plane of motion compared to fully extending, your body into a different plane, you utilize different muscles. So when you stay in one plane, you're working more of that muscle than compared to going into the front and the back plane where the tension is released. Now you're working a little bit of the shoulder when you change that plane compared to staying in the front plane where you're working all the chest. And this has to have some play in how the physique looks, correct? Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. It definitely plays in how your physique develops in terms of if you want more aesthetic appeal or if you want more of a meaty kind of look. Okay. I feel and for the aesthetics, let's say just you stay in one plane. You don't really gotta work too heavy because when you're staying in that plane, you're stopping. You're forcing yourself, and you're forcing that muscle to stop and then contract back up. Compared to if you worked in two different planes, now you're taking the tension all the way off the muscle and then trying to fire it back up. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's a little characteristics you're trying to detail when you do it for this aesthetic. Yeah.
Okay.
A little more like when you take a chisel
Mhm.
and you carve something out. You know, when you get to those fine details, you're not making those big chisels. You know, because
Little.
It's for fun. And in the same way, that's how I lift. You know.
And how you look at the body.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, like, for everyone just listening and watching, like, you have like the Greek god body. We can pull up pictures. We won't, but we can pull up pictures of this man, and you'll shit your pants. Is the best way I could put it.
Got the dad bod now, though.
Yeah, nah. You're steady working. Hey, you have a lot on your plate. But we pulled up Leonardo da Vinci and his professions. Now, bear with me. It's a long list. I'm gonna say it all real quick. Painter, engineer, mathematician, astronomer, polymath, sculptor, physicist, geologist, inventor, philosopher, diplomat, cartographer, chemist, composer, poet, architect, still going, botanist, and anatomist. If I autonomist, anatomist. That's a lot.
Botanist too, right?
Anonymous, yes, right there.
Botanist is that?
Botanist and anonymous.
Botanist is what, like flowers? Something with flowers?
I have no clue. I
think flowers. Plants, yeah. Okay.
Wow. That's a lot. For everyone, this is Leonardo da Vinci, the man who painted the Monet. What's the one with everyone at the table for
Last Supper?
Last Supper.
There's a lot of sacred geometry in his work.
Talk about this, man. You can go at it.
Yeah, like I don't know. A lot of these fields helped him develop a level of awareness in his art. You can even look this up if you like. He uses sacred geometry in his art, which is like the golden ratio. It's perfect precision, you know, based on human aesthetic appeal, which is why his art is so.
Is that why the Monet was so
drawn into his art? Because of the golden ratios and the laws in nature. He uses the laws in nature to create his art.
Does that, like that type of stuff?
Yeah, like that's his right here, and he designed that through the laws of nature. Like when you look at like the flower of life and sacred geometry, he takes a lot of sacred geometry, like the Plutonic Solids, things of that nature, and angles to create something perfect.
Okay.
Based on what nature deems perfect. And if you look at you know, how Leonardo used the golden ratio.
What is the golden ratio for everyone?
It's a ratio that's found in nature that gives perfect symmetrical balance. Okay. So if you want to just peep that, like Leonardo da Vinci and golden ratio, you're going to be able to see, you know, they're going to show you in some of his pictures how he uses that ratio and how it all comes together. Like in the Last Supper, there's actually different layers. He paints on top of different layers to create like an illusion. But he does it in a way where you would never know he uses actual laws of nature in his painting.
And this is why so many people are attracted to it, because like
I believe there's a natural aesthetic appeal when
you're using all this in one. There's got to be something that almost brings you into it to look at it, right?
Yeah, there's going to be something that draws you in because of how it transitions from the natural world.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it takes you almost out of I always say it like this, but the simulation, like the way they make life, it takes you out of that way of life they're trying to put you in. Is that what you know what I'm saying there?
It gives you, like, his artwork, I feel like gives you a perspective on reality.
Okay.
Compared to, like you were saying, the simulation that's given.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists they don't do that.
Is this the golden ratio? Look up the golden ratio. This is craziness. Because this man is like a very big part of history. There's got to be a reason why. I didn't know it was all of this.
Yeah, that's where I kind of sort of get my holistic viewpoint, because a lot of different aspects can come together to give you something that you're not even aware of. And he wasn't even that into painting. Mm-hmm. He was more into everything else.
Yeah,
or not.
And it just happened to come along with it almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this some of the stuff?
Or
was it that picture on the front?
If you maybe just
go back.
Yeah, can
go
you
back see what's
Google, if you could maybe Google golden ratio Leonardo. Yeah, so that ratio right there.
Right here?
Yeah, and you can even see it right there when you click on that. That's the golden ratio, and that's patterns actually found in all of nature. You can find that pattern.
This pattern's found in nature.
Yeah, that golden ratio with the squares and how everything comes down. And you can even look up golden ratio found in nature, and it give you all examples of how that pattern.
Perfect body.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it until we started started talking about this.
It's
I
real.
saw that and it seemed-
That's how I get my measurements. I put the golden ratio in. That's where I get my ideal body size. Like, okay, 19-inch arms, biceps. Like, that's my goal.
No way.
Yeah, that's where I get my goals from, is the golden ratio. I actually use that mathematical equation to build my body.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I strive for certain proportions.
I have to look into that because that's a very wild way of looking at it.
Yeah,
No one. You ask anyone in that gym, no one's saying that.
Oh, no.
No.
That's in my mind. That's what I use to build the perfect aesthetic physique. Instead of just trying to, get big and look good, I actually use like a ratio, and that's found in nature.
Is there any like you do the bodybuilder poses, like all the bodybuilders, like Arnold, all of them? Did they look into this stuff to like practice the poses?
To be honest with you, I don't think they looked that deep into it. But the only one that I can say is as maybe artistic in that manner that looked into different aspects would be Arnold. Because Arnold took ballet when he learned to pose. He actually took ballet classes to find a certain balance in his body and a certain pivotal point to help him move.
Because it's an art. It is an art of moving.
And he was one of the only people.
Look up golden ratio in nature. He was the only people to
person to take ballet, because he realized how coordinating my body in this gentle manner is going to give me a flow and a smooth transition. But no other bodybuilder has his transitions.
Yeah, no one.
Like
the
when
way
you look
he
at
moves up there, it's like a They say look at an artwork or look at a room. The way they view art is if you were to look at it and nothing stops you, that's an art piece. Not like it should move in a flow, and that's how he moved, was in a flow. And what music did he put behind it? Because if you think about it, if you're moving like that and you put a song in there with the vibrations, it could cause a lot of like people to
put it this way. I believe when you're moving in that natural flow of nature and you've trained yourself to move in that natural flow of nature, you can put on whatever song you want to put on. It's going to match.
Really?
It's going to match. Just like in poetry, when people talk, I feel like when people find their flow and they let go of the overthinking, there's always going to be a rhythmic pattern. Just going back to the Hermetic principles, that's one of the principles of nature, rhythm. So I feel like when you develop that natural rhythm and you train for it, you can put any song to it and you're going to get the same result. The magic happens now, I believe, when you want to portray a meaning behind the vibration.
Yes.
And then you could put a stronger sense of music to that.
To portray that overall meaning to the audience.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
And overall, when you're in that state of flow, you're in that state of flow, and it's going to transition regardless.
You put that in a great explanation right there. It was a great way of putting it. Yeah. So this is found in. This is how I used it with the Monet. Vin, let's
you see
show the screen this. Like, move the camera.
And then you can actually see it in the weather patterns. Hurricanes and plants.
Snails.
Everything.
Yeah, let's look at those. Oh, look at the plants. So, almost everything has this almost like alignment in some sort of way.
Everything has the golden ratio in it. Everything. There's not one thing you're going to find on Earth without it.
Everything like that comes from Earth?
On Earth, it's going to have that.
Wow. Do architects know this?
Pretty sure they do.
Yeah, they have to, right?
You can look it up. There are definitely buildings built behind the golden ratio.
Wow, look at the water. The water one.
The natural splash. Yeah, you see
the natural splash. Yeah. Look at that. It's just water.
And that's not even added into it. You see, they didn't add in no lines. That's just the water forming as the water, and it looks just like the golden ratio. So there's certain patterns that's referring to in life that, when you study and you see, I'm not going to say you can predict the future, but you may have a good idea of where the future is going and how it's going to be based on these patterns.
Wow. This is nuts. Everything's built on this. For everyone listening, now we pulled up the golden ratio in front of architectural.
You can probably find it in the pyramids too.
In the pyramid? Yeah. You want to see that real quick?
Yeah,
let's see that real quick.
I'm pretty sure you find it in the pyramids.
Let's look up golden ratio related to Egyptian pyramids. I want to see this.
I'm pretty sure it'd be in there.
Because like I said, I'm very intrigued by those pyramids.
Yeah. The Egyptians, believe it or not, they believe that the body was a very, very fundamental aspect of their life.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you see the golden ratio right there. That's why their tombs are actually built. I don't know if you know, the tombs are built like a body.
Yeah,
like the actual layers of tombs, like it comes in as a feet. And have you ever seen that before?
I don't know if I have.
No.
I know about the tombs. I'm just very, very intrigued.
It's found in everything, especially when you look at stuff like the ancient sites like that. You're gonna find.
Who
You know, I'm
came?
curious. I wonder if it's in Stonehenge. See if we can find it in Stonehenge, because that is what those rocks are like randomized, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
So let's see if it'd be curious to see if they're in Stonehenge, because I've never actually seen that.
Let's look at it. Stonehenge golden ratio.
Because Stonehenge is one of the meridian points, just like the pyramids are. So
And
I figured to be
So
there.
the meridian points again. These pyramids are placed on these meridian points to activate these frequencies and vibrations underneath.
Well, meridian points, from my understanding, are the strongest points, like on the Earth, where the electromagnetic field is.
Okay.
So I feel like certain things were placed in these meridian points to amplify an electromagnetic field to maybe
Cause other
send out a
things.
signal.
Okay.
And when you look at history and you look at Nikola Tesla, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
He's the big scientist, right?
He's the one that said Thomas Edison pretty much took his invention of the light bulb and just patented it to make
Okay.
money off. But he actually built wireless energy. Like, he made a dome that could produce energy to like this whole house wirelessly without having to plug anything into the
How?
wall.
How so? Like what did he use?
Mathematics. He used a power of 369. So there are certain mathematics that he used in proportion to the golden ratio to build a certain machine that can amplify Earth's natural electromagnetic fields and supply with free energy.
Wow.
That's something they don't tell you.
Yeah, dude, I haven't heard
And-
this anywhere.
Yeah, you can look it up too. Like, and if you look up, what he has done, they stopped him from doing that.
How come? Because he knew too much?
Everything revolves around money.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was no electric companies.
There-
Imagine if people didn't have to pay for electricity.
then it'd be almost like no one would be making money from it. There's a lot of money that comes from the electricity part of the world.
To be honest
And
with
this
you,
man did it without like connecting stuff.
yeah, he built a wireless amplifier so he can use like frequencies of electromagnetic frequencies to create wireless energy.
Let's look this up.
Legit, like
This
and when you look at that,
has someone, excuse me for cutting you off, has someone like nowadays, like I assume like Elon Musk is on that level of scientist, right?
Of course, that's why it's called a Tesla.
Okay, yeah,
That's
I
why
figured.
the car's called a Tesla. He already knows, like,
But
yeah.
why don't like these figures bring up like this type of energy just because money portion? Like, you really think it comes down to just that?
I think if they did, the economy would probably collapse even quicker because
Everything involves energy.
yeah, and a lot of it is not clean energy. A lot of it is energy that's destroy the Earth for
And this is clean energy. They're just using frequencies and vibrations, right?
the Earth's magnetic
So
field,
how the hell come we aren't using it if it's healthy for the world?
because people want control. The government wants control. If people had free energy, if people had free food, if people had free shelter, who would go to work? Who would continue the cycle of
Life.
nonsense?
Yeah, nonsense. Nonsense, yeah.
I mean, life would continue because people would enjoy themselves. They'd
Yeah.
be doing what they wanted to do, but there would be no system in place to keep the people in check.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
This is
would you look up it?
First result I got was
Tesla coil. I think that might be it. Yeah, you look Nikola Tesla. Free. What is it? Free energy creation. Maybe.
look at that.
Because he actually created like I think it was in a shape of a pyramid. I think actually, now that I think about it,
Why do you think they were shaped like that?
what was shaped like that? The pyramids.
Pyramids, or like if somebody made something like this, like a actually, let's discuss this first. We talk about the pyramids a lot. I don't want to bore people with me bringing up the pyramids.
Well,
I'm just intrigued in those so much.
You want to go back and understand shapes? I can give you the Plutonic Solids.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We'll talk about that right after this.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Because each shape has an actual meaning.
Okay. All right. We're gonna discuss that next, folks.
Is that the?
Is this the machine?
I
The
think- Yeah, I think that's it right there. That's exactly what it looked like.
that
Yeah, that's what he built.
and this
That would give free energy
to
wirelessly. Yeah,
within a range.
yeah, within a certain parameter. Yeah,
So say if we just had 100 of these placed around the country, we wouldn't need.
we wouldn't need actual electricity with wires going, from everywhere.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. It's scary.
Yeah, fix it. That is scary. On how come we haven't? And
We
this
don't
is
know about this. They hide it from us.
no one knows about this. Well, we're telling the world now.
So, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we go to school and we get educated. They only give us a perspective that they want us to give us.
Yes.
Thomas Edison created the light bulb. Well, they didn't say that he took the patent from Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
He took that idea.
They won't tell you that
and
part.
he patented it to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla didn't want to patent because he didn't want to make the money off of it.
He didn't care about the money at
No.
all. He just wanted to invent
the progress of humankind, progression of humankind. And when you look at Elon Musk now and you look at what he's doing, he's very, really smart. He made a high-end sports car.
Yeah.
That's
oh
his
my
first car.
gosh, dude.
Do you know why he did that, though, right?
No, I don't.
No?
No.
He did that because he already knew, rich people have money. I'm going to get rich people to fund my dreams. After he made that high-end car, he made the next car, which was slightly cheaper. And then after he made that slightly cheaper car, his third model was a little more cheaper. So he's using the capital from the more expensive products that he made in the beginning from the rich people
to make these things
to create
to
for the lower class.
Wow, that's dude, smart. He's helping the world. That's a great way of helping the world.
Smart marketing.
That's a way smart marketing.
He's beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond. Like, I just look at him and I'm just like, wow, like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. Don't we all wish we could do something like he does?
Nice.
The shapes.
Yes.
Tell us about the shapes. What is it called?
The Plutonic Solids.
Plutonic Solids.
Yes. So those Plutonic Solids originated in the era with Plato, philosopher Plato. Mm-hmm. And he was actually able to come up with different shapes. And these different shapes, the origins of these shapes, and they're called Plutonic Solids, is because they're found in the circle of life.
What's the circle of life?
Okay, so before we get to the Plutonic Solids, then maybe we should just watch this video. It's like 7 minutes. And it's called Sacred Geometry and Life. And it goes into the creation story. And it actually breaks down the biblical story on how the first day God created this, the second day God created that. And it puts it in mathematical terms and shapes. So you can actually see creation happening. And when you see this creation happening, and you see these symbols of creation are found across
everything.
Ancient civilizations.
These symbols?
Yes.
What are the symbols called? Like what?
Well, the symbols. To see the symbol, it's like the tree of life, the flower of life, the egg of life. They all originate from the creation story. And if you look up,
yeah, let's get the basis down. The creation
story. Sacred geometry and creation.
Now, for the video, I don't want to watch the whole 7-minute video just for like audience wise. I don't want them to
be dragged on.
Yeah. Now we'll watch a portion of it. Now, once we watch a portion of it, I just want you to almost like explain a little about what it was saying.
Okay, so pretty much, it's taking, like, if you had the idea of a Big Bang and how they say, the universe started at a certain point of a peak.
Mm-hmm.
The concept, right?
Yeah.
The Big Bang and everything expanding outward. They take that concept and they actually put it into math, into physical math that we can see. Like by drawing a circle and expanding that circle, and the continuous expansion of that circle 4 times, 8 times, creates certain geometric patterns and certain geometric patterns that are found in our reality and that create the actual physical substance of reality.
So you think these patterns definitely have a say in how life is operated?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes?
The shapes. Plutonic solids, absolutely. And you can see that here where he talks about the creation and movement, how movement had to happen before anything else happened.
Yes, that's a big thing Duane has been emphasizing. Movement comes first.
And then he goes over the first 3 circles. You see the Holy Trinity. That is found in the Bible. The Vesica Pisces beginning. Wow. Right now he's talking about the 4th day of Genesis, how everything was halfway created. After the 6th day, miracle took place. And now you have the pattern of the seed of life. And these patterns, like I said, the seed of life, the tree of life, the egg of life, they're all found in ancient civilizations.
Look up those. Like
You know?
what is something we can look up to see all of those in one?
Look up ancient, or look up tree of life found in ancient, different ancient cultures.
Civilizations and all.
Yeah, like now you have the egg of life, and doesn't that look like a cell?
Yeah,
Born?
it looks or like I know exactly what you're talking about within the body. There's
the eggs. They're just like that when we first start dividing. So when you take those shapes and those solids and you look at the patterns, and you're gonna see on a micro and macro scale how they're all connected.
what?
What is this one? Tree of life. Tree of life. Try the egg of life. Let's see, egg of life. Found in what is it? Different cultures, different ancient cultures.
This is crazy.
And like I said, these ancient cultures, they're thousands of years apart. They can be sometimes found across different parts of the world.
Have you been seeing what they've been finding in the Amazon recently?
No.
About the like civilizations in the Amazon?
Oh yeah, the indigenous people that have never had contact with anybody else other than their own tribe.
Yes. Now there are still some apparently today, still in the Amazon, but they found they've been finding. I think about like a month ago, they found a new civilization that had a pyramid in it.
Okay.
And it's just like they had systems in these Amazon civilizations that there's no possible way they thought they could have knew how to do this stuff. Like agricultural systems under the ground, all this wild architecture, like the way it was built actually, the architecture of the civilization and the placement of it.
Okay.
And I just find it interesting how they're just finding this stuff out, because we've only discovered like 3/8 of the Amazon rainforest. Like we have not. It's the size of a continent, the actual rainforest itself. Graham Hancock, the archaeologist I was talking about earlier, presented this to people. And what he was saying is that there is so much in this rainforest we have no clue about that it's almost like scary like. Like he says, you should be just as scared as this rainforest as you should be with the ocean.
Okay.
Because like when you read, the ocean's scary.
3% maybe like discovered.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like he said you should be just as scared as the rainforest as you should the ocean.
Okay.
We've only discovered 3/8 of it. Look up
Here you go.
Oh, okay.
Now these are the pictures where you see them in different cultures, found ancient different cultures from around China, Ireland, Egypt, and India.
Wow. For everyone listening, we are looking at, like he said, different objects from different time periods in the world where these patterns are on the objects.
So yeah, same patterns, just in different time areas and different places. Same pattern and understanding of the origin of life and why these symbols are so sacred. And from that's where they're going to derive. That's where Plato derived Plutonic Solids, is from these patterns right here. So Plato himself derived it. That's what they call Plutonic Solids.
Okay. Wow. We're clipping this. This is crazy.
See,
Plutonic.
They talk about how the circles and the curves are feminine energy, going back to the Hermetic principles.
The gender?
Gender, there's a balance of feminine and masculine energy. So the curves and the circles are feminine energy.
But they're all connecting.
But now they're adding a masculine energy. The masculine energy is straight lines. So now you take the feminine energy and the masculine energy and you connect them. Now you get the Plutonic Solids.
Wow.
So it all goes back to the Hermetic principles.
Yes.
And utilization of the Hermetic principles, I feel, to understand what is happening and why it's happening the way it is.
Everything connects from these Hermetic principles, it seems like. You're relating them to each topic we bring up. You bring up the Hermetic principles no matter what.
Because it's a foundation.
Yes.
It's a foundation of life.
Hermetic principles were before the Bible, you said, right?
Correct.
Made out of what? The Cabo?
Kabbalah. Kabbalion. Yeah.
I'm stunned, man. This is...
Yeah, even Plato says geometry will draw the soul towards truth and create the spirit of philosophy.
You think this is why they teach it a lot in schools, because of this? Geometry-wise?
I think they teach geometry. I failed geometry, to be honest, in school.
Yeah?
Yeah. I failed in high school. And I feel like they teach geometry in school to relay a certain understanding, but they don't teach it for us to know.
They don't teach it in this way.
No.
They're not teaching it in this way.
No. They teach it for us to regurgitate and to do whatever society wants us to do with it, but not actually to understand, oh, wow, this is why this is the way it is.
Yeah.
They don't teach it that way.
Huh.
They don't.
Wow, this is crazy, man. This is nuts.
Yeah, it
I
says
don't even
philosophy is written in the grim look the universe which stands continues to open our gaze. But the book cannot be understood unless one first learns to comprehend the language and to read the letters in which it is composed. It is written in the language of mathematics, and the characters are triangles, circles, and other geometric figures. So without which it would be humanly impossible to understand a single word of it. Without these, one wanders about in a dark labyrinth. So to really understand the essence and trueness of life, diving into, you know,
golden ratio right there.
and you have the golden ratio too. Yeah.
So to understand almost the meaning of life and why everything's going on, we have to understand this background stuff as well.
To see how everything connects, the patterns. You can look at the shapes and you can see the correspondence and the golden ratio and how all that connects in life. And when you relate that to a bigger picture, humans are the same way.
Yeah, and this is like hidden to the human eye.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think they don't explain this stuff as well, though?
Because then you'd be part of the Illuminati.
You would understand it completely.
You'd have an illumination of reality that maybe they don't want you to have, or they don't want a mass majority of people to have. Because just like in the movie The Matrix, what happened when so many people became aware? They revolted.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They went against the machines.
See, you almost need this to be hidden to have a society running. You think?
I think in this day and age, and where we're going towards, some people say, "Oh, the New World Order," this, that. I feel like with this information being out there, it gives an opportunity for an expansion of consciousness for those who have not had that opportunity.
Okay.
But a lot of the times, the rich want to stay rich and they want to keep the poor repressed. So if you can understand something that somebody of a lower class doesn't understand, you can easily manipulate and control them.
Yes.
But if the lower class understands what you understand,
then you can't
you can't manipulate or control them no longer. So it goes back to the status quo and the agenda of things. So that's why knowledge is power.
Knowledge is. I emphasize when I actually gave a speech to kids the other day at my school about entrepreneurship and why I did this podcast, and one thing I said to them was that knowledge is power, and because, like you said, and the professor at my old school, he literally emphasized that a lot. That knowledge is power. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for knowledge.
Yeah, no.
But now we're gonna wrap this up. But is there anything you wanted to? Because you brought a lot to the podcast that people are gonna listen to and really take in. Like you're gonna have people thinking and wondering. And that's exactly what I wanted you to come on and express this knowledge. Because you're someone we're having on again very shortly too, I suppose. Is there anything specific you wanted to get out of the way before we wrapped it up? Is there anything you wanted to discuss?
Maybe I just want to play one video relating and tying everything up in terms of what a lot of people don't really gauge out of life.
Okay.
Something that, a philosophy that can maybe, without worrying about the mathematics, without worrying about the actual detail, be able to understand about just humans in general and our life in general.
Okay.
And I think this video goes back to the idea of who we really are as humans. And
this connects it to that.
Why we are here.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, but this video is like...
Let's listen to it.
Great philosophy on life and how it should be.
Hey, I love it. Let's listen to it. Vin, the camera too. was very, very, very deep. And hold on, I think that was something that was very, very good to end on with having you on. You expressed everything that we talked about very well, and I think people are going to take a lot from that and a lot from this podcast. Listen, man, I'm happy as hell we got you on. I think you're someone that's very, very important in this world. Is there anything you want to say before we end it, man?
Thank you, just for the opportunity and the ability to express the ideas and the philosophy to other people who may not have a solidified understanding of what life is and the reasoning behind them being here. And I just want to reinforce that it's the experience itself and sharing it with others, and the enjoyment and the actual feeling of it is the point. And I encourage everybody to just continue to grow and learn regardless of the obstacles that come their way, because life's too short.
Life's too short.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you,
Thank you, everybody. Duane Moreno, correct? Duane Moreno?
correct. Yes.
He will be back on soon. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you took a lot from this podcast. See you next time and enjoy the Offscouring Odyssey. Peace and love.